Hey there, it's Shannon, and I wanted to share a book with you that I read on getting organized and tidying up. It is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing. I picked this up on Amazon. It was about $9.99. And it says that the author, Marie Kondo, has positioned herself as Japan's preeminent guru of tidiness, a warrior princess in the war on clutter. Despite constant efforts to declutter your home, do papers still accumulate like snowdrifts and clothes pile up like a tangled mess of noodles? And I'm picturing ramen noodles, if that helps. The Japanese cleaning consultant Marie Kondo takes tidying to a whole new level, promising that if you properly simplify and organize your home once, you'll never have to do it again. Excuse me. Most methods advocate a room by room or little by little approach, which doom you to pick away at piles of stuff forever. The KonMari method, with its revolutionary category by category system, leads to lasting results. In fact, none of Kondo's clients have lapsed, and she still has a 3-month waiting list. With detailed guidance for determining which items in your house spark joy and which don't, this international bestseller, featuring Tokyo's newest lifestyle phenomenon, will help you clear your clutter and enjoy the unique magic of a tidy home and the calm, motivated mindset that it can inspire. I believe a YouTuber mentioned this in a quick little sidebar during the video I was watching, and I don't even remember who it was, but I had written this down so that I would further research it or take a look at it, and went on Amazon, found the book, and just thought I'd give it a read. It came, and I actually read it the same day. I had the day off, so I didn't have anything else to do. Kind of poured through it. It's actually a cute little book. It's not very big, and it's not very long. It's 200 pages, but they're small pages. I mean, it's actually a small book. So what I want to do is just kind of share with you my thoughts on this process, and kind of why I wanted to share it with you. The main reason being I keep coming back to feeling like I can never stay on top of things at home, and that my house is always cluttered. I had a college roommate whose dad, Big Mike, would say when he would visit like her apartment or her dorm that the place looked like it had been robbed, and indeed that is what my house looks like right now. It looks like somebody was looking for something and they never found it. They looked everywhere, they upended things, they tossed things about, looks sort of ransacked, and that's kind of how I feel. I don't know, my house is. I'm just as guilty as anybody else of leaving clutter around. So that being said, this is a method, and prior to this point in my life, I've never been one to really read a book that's sort of technically a self-help or a lifestyle book, but I'm getting close to 40. I'm a mom with kids, and I work, and I don't know, maybe this is just a point in my life where I want to be better. So anyway, sharing this with you. I don't really know how else to do it other than kind of read from the book and kind of look down at notes I've taken. So apologies for not always being, right here, but I'm kind of new to videos, and this is really, I think it's fun, and I just really want to share this with you. So that being said, and I'm going to probably tend to repeat myself, but I guess that's kind of how you get the message across, right? So anyways, I have mentioned, no, maybe I didn't. I work part-time, so I'm gone on average 2 to 3 days a week. I work long days. I have 3 boys that are here, and my stepson goes to college and lives in the dorm, and my stepdaughter has her own place, and there's my husband. We have no pets. My youngest is 8. I have an 11-year-old, and then I have an almost 16-year-old, and there's lots of stuff that goes with that many people. So I always have things everywhere, and like I may have said that I'm just as guilty of being a cluttered, messy person. And every day I look around and see the clutter, and I think the common theme that it is somewhat anxiety producing and makes me think that my to-do list will never be done, or I'll never have completed the things around the house that I want to complete. And I think it all starts with simplifying and having things around you that you love, and really knowing, what it is that you have. I mean, my kids have things you know, that they don't play with or use or enjoy just because they simply forgot they had them. And I'm just as guilty of that. And it just sort of came to me one day that, you know, excess isn't always the best. So let's just kind of get organized. What methods are people using? And kind of let's just get started there. The big points that she makes in this is that you should simplify and organize once, declutter first, get rid of things, and then she goes through her method and her process. Ultimately, that there is a place for everything and put everything in its place. A part of the process that she goes through when downsizing, when decluttering, and when you're getting rid of things is that does something you have, does it really spark joy? And those are the words she uses. Do you love it? There's a blogger out there, I believe it's Rosy Blue or Rosy Blue Handmade. I'll mention her in the link below. I'd stumbled upon her. And the blue part, BLU, of her name tag for her website is she, you know, as part of her lifestyle, she wants things around her to be beautiful. She wants to love them and she wants them to be useful. And I think back to that and think that that's just really a great way to, you know, think about things. And in also thinking about being more present, giving your presence to people and living in the moment, and mindfulness will kind of help to have an environment that's created, that you've created, where you've simplified things and you really can kind of take stock of what you have and enjoy what you have on a daily basis and moment to moment. And that hopefully at some point it will give you pause in your day and you can be thankful for the plant that someone bought you, or the little wine cork keeper that sits on a credenza somewhere, or a basket, or whatever. But keep it simple, minimize, and kind of, you know, keep what you need. He says that this book is not only like a map as to how to do it, but it can kind of get you in the mindset of how you should be thinking when you're going through the process of decluttering. So as I mentioned, you know, the best way I feel for me to share with you what I gathered from this book is just to read from it. I've highlighted points, and again, these are her words, not mine, so I just want to share that with you and doing a review of this. Starting at the book's table of contents, the main points she addresses are: why can't I keep my house in order? Discard things first. Tidying by category works like magic, and she literally has a page-by-page breakdown of that. Storing your things to make your life shine, and then the magic of tidying dramatically transforms your life. She frequently mentions and repeats, and I'll probably do the same thing, the same themes, is that you need to discard first. There's a process for that, and then organize, which seems kind of like a no-brainer, and it's how you're going to get things done. And that it is life transforming. When you get your life in order and you have things around you in order, you're going to feel a little more organized. You put your affairs in order and your past as well. And you should be surrounded by things that you love. And you shouldn't make it a chore. It should be something that's easy to maintain, just like any lifestyle choice, that you have a place for things, you're organized, and you can keep up with it. Here it says, once you have experienced what it's like to have a truly ordered house, you'll feel your whole world brighten. And that is the magic of tidying. So hence the title, the life-changing magic of tidying up. And as far as I'm concerned, who doesn't want that? So why can't I keep my house in order? I'm just going to do a flip through. I have a little book here in front of me. Like I said, these are my prompts. I didn't want to have to copy notes. So what have I highlighted? I took my yellow highlighter. Homes overflow with unnecessary items. Check. Marathon tidying. A tidying marathon doesn't cause rebound. Okay, whatever. People cannot change their habits without first changing their way of thinking. Yes, there's a spot that I'll mention, I think, that I used in just rethinking the way I process the things I have and just sorting through what I have. If you tidy up in one shot rather than little by little, you can dramatically change your mindset because you have instant results. If you use the right method and concentrate your efforts on eliminating clutter thoroughly and completely within a short span of time, you'll see instant results. There we go. That will empower you to keep your space in order ever after. And when I think about getting organized around my house, those are the themes that keep coming back. Like if I could just get my laundry room organized, if I could just get my closet organized, if I could just get a medicine cabinet in here, I could organize this. So it's a common theme for me. I guess I need order. I crave order. The work involved can be broadly divided into two kinds: deciding whether or not to dispose of something and deciding where to put it. Makes sense. Repeating myself again, but it's coming across as the main theme. And if you do these two things, you can achieve perfection. So the moment you start this, it says you reset your life. And she kind of goes into the, you know, the psychology behind it. And she even mentions, I think, that she studied the psychology of human behavior. And I can't remember where it was, but I was like, well, you know, she can, you know, speak to it by cleaning up your psychological space. A messy room equals a messy mind. Tidying is just a tool, not the final destination. And by saying that storage experts are hoarders, and that this is why tidying must start with discarding. You can't, I mean, we all have excess. I know I do. And yeah, it just makes sense that that's what she would say to start with. And then tidy by category, not by place, because I tend to have things, just thinking about all the different locations where I have stuff in my house, that I should just, you know, get it all in one spot, go through it, discard it, and then decide how you're going to store it. I think a good example of that is like DVDs or CDs or games. Like there's games scattered all over the house, and, you know, get it all in one spot. Effective tidying involves only two essential actions: discarding and deciding where to store things. That might be the 5th time I said that. Discard first and make it a special event, not a chore. Conversely, once you have put your house in order, tidying will be reduced to the very simple task of putting things back where they belong. Check. Unbelievable as it may sound, you have only to experience a state of perfect order once and to be able to maintain it. So I guess the proof is in the pudding when she says none of her clients have lapsed, and she has people waiting to get her in their houses to straighten them up. So here it says, although not a large, the space I live in is graced only with those things that speak to my heart, and my lifestyle brings me joy. So here it says, finish discarding first. Start there. Start by discarding all at once, intensely and completely. When you tidy your space completely, you transform the scenery, which, again, when I look around and see clutter, it makes me anxious and makes me think I'm not done doing what I need to do. Where do I start? I'll never finish. Don't even think of putting your things away until you finish the process of discarding. Choose what you want to keep, not what you want to get rid of. And that was part of the changing of the mindset. It's more of the glass is half full than half empty. Don't think of getting rid of the stuff. Think of keeping things and just kind of minimizing what you have. She says to take each item in your hand and ask yourself, does it spark joy? Or, you know, you could add, is it beautiful? Do I love it? Is it useful? And if it's not, get rid of it. Keep only the things that speak to your heart. And again, she goes back to do it by category, not by place. Look at everything closely. Is it useful to you? Again, I'm repeating myself, but I'm just kind of going through the book in the order that I found these highlights important. People have trouble discarding things that they could still use. Things of functional value that contain helpful information, informational value, and sentimental ties, which for me is really hard. When it comes to pictures and things that belong to my kids, I really have a hard time, I think, parting with them. But you have to remember, you know, again, is it useful or is this just taking up space? So to start with, these are the categories that she said is the best sequence in which to begin your process. Start with your clothes, then do books, do papers, and a category she calls kimono. And it's not your kimonos, it's miscellaneous or miscellaneous items. And then lastly, mementos, because those mementos that you have attachments for are probably going to be the hardest to get rid of and are going to take the most time. And there's a little note here that says, don't let your family see. I once tried to take some things to Goodwill, and my kids were with me, and they saw some of the things I was trying to get rid of, and I never was able to get rid of them. I think there were some stuffed animals that ended up going for a ride that day and coming back home. So, good point. It's extremely stressful for parents to see what their children discard. Yes. If it still has the tags on it, or it's something you thought they were going to love and they never used it, never played with it, I guess then it was never meant to be. And don't be annoyed with your family if they don't cooperate with you to have the ideal home, because they probably don't care as much as you do. And in speaking to that, I am reminded of a conversation I had with my friend Amy about our, kids and clutter, and when you ask them to do something or ask them to clean their room and you get, told that it was done, and then you go look and you're like, no, did you do anything? What I asked you to clean your room. And I think, they don't know how to do it unless you show them or tell them. I remember when I was younger, my mom and dad spent Saturday mornings, it was their cleaning day, and then we went about doing what we wanted to do. And during the week, during the summer when my parents were working and I was home, before I had a job or whatever, they would have like a little honey-do list of things that they wanted us to do to kind of help keep the house up. And that's where I learned those basic skills as far as cleaning. I think tidying and purging and, decluttering is a different category, but they don't learn it unless you teach to them. And part of that, pack rat mentality, or, I need lots of things, is learned. But, if you don't teach them that they don't need so many things, and you can enjoy what you have if you don't know what you have because you have too much, then that's a problem. So teach your kids how to clean, teach them to organize. Maybe, I don't know if quarterly or semi-annually you go through and say, we need to go through your toy box, let's get rid of stuff you don't need, let's go through the books we're not reading. That's another process in itself, but thoughts. And then to quietly work away at disposing of your own excess is actually the best way of dealing with a family that doesn't tidy. So by getting rid of your stuff, you're kind of setting an example, and just, you're starting somewhere. The work of carefully considering each object I own to see whether it sparks joy inside of me is like conversing with myself through the medium of my possessions. Deep thoughts. Here's, I guess, a paragraph I want to read that I guess really spoke to me. When you come across something that's hard to discard, consider carefully why you have that specific item in the first place. When did you get it, and what meaning did it have for you then? Reassess the role it plays in your life. If, for example, you have some clothes that you bought but never wear, examine them one at a time. Where did you buy that particular outfit and why? If you bought it because you thought it looked cool in the shop, it has fulfilled its function, giving you the thrill when you bought it. Then, why did you never wear it? Was it because you realized that it didn't suit you when you tried it on at home? If so, and if you no longer buy clothes of the same style or color, it has fulfilled another purpose for you. In fact, that particular article of clothing has already completed its role in your life, and you are free to say, thank you for giving me joy when I bought you, or thank you for teaching me what doesn't suit me, and let it go. So a very conscious decision to, ask yourself these questions. And I think it makes it a little easier to let some things go. To truly cherish the things that are important to you, you must first discard those that have outlived their purpose. Yes, yes, yes. Tidying in order. The clothing department, she breaks it down even to more categories: tops, bottoms, clothes, socks, undies, bags, accessories, clothes for specific events, and shoes. Go through each category and then do it all at once. So this is a good example of how her process works. You place every item of clothing in your house on your floor so you can look at it all together and get it all. Gather it all except for, maybe that load of dirty laundry that you have. But make sure you gather every single piece of clothing you have and handle every single one. She talks about, not being too lazy and living in sweatpants all the time. If sweatpants are your everyday attire, you'll end up looking like you belong in them, which is not very attractive. And I do have to say, I have to argue that point because I have a pair of really nice looking yoga pants that if worn with the right shirt, sort of look like dress pants. So you can maybe carefully wear your yoga pants. There's a time and a place. She really goes into specifics on folding and how to store your clothes, how to arrange your clothes, which I'm not going to kind of belabor that, but arrange your clothes in a certain way. She really has a thing for storing socks and not wadding them up, and stacking things instead of like stacking t-shirts on top of one another. Fold them in a way that you can look down and they're standing up so that you can see what you have, which makes perfect sense, and it's easier on your clothes. She has there's limited videos that she has, Marie, but she's got a few of them where she, I mean, if this is your thing, it might be too nerdy for you, but she talks about how she folds t-shirts and how she stores them. And it really makes sense to me. It makes me think of when I was younger and my dad taught me how to pack a gym bag, or like a bag where you like roll your clothes and you put your outfits together and you stack them up, and each time you go in, you grab an outfit, you have it, it's rolled up, it's not wrinkled, and you've maximized your storage space. It's sort of like that, I think. That's what it makes me think of anyway. Does this spark joy? Repeated theme, variations on a theme. How you go through your books. Sorting papers as part of, you know, pretty much discard everything you don't need. Like, user's manuals are all online now. You don't need to keep those books. And then keep your papers all in one spot. Get yourself a nice file folder or a filing cabinet if you think you need to keep that many papers, but really you don't. But just declutter. Warranties and, yeah, like I said, user's manuals for electrical appliances you don't need to keep. Categories that she calls miscellaneous that you'll sort through, and I think can go through the same way you did your clothing. CDs, skincare products, makeup, accessories, valuables, electrical equipment, household supplies, kitchen goods, and other things. Again, go through them by category, get rid of things that are expired, no longer useful, and then organize. The one thing she did speak to was when you receive a gift from somebody that's not really useful to you, why are you keeping it if it's cluttering up your house? You were thought of, you thanked the person, and in the moment in time that that happened, it served its purpose. And if it no longer has a place in your life, get rid of it. So I'm thinking she's giving a thumbs up to regifting. Let's see. The exhilaration you feel when you bought the item is what counts, or when you get an item from somebody. Sentimental items I think are going to be harder to get rid of because I myself have more of an attachment to them. She gives the example of if you really asked your kids what you wanted them to keep, or what you wanted to keep that they made you, that they'd probably be surprised that you kept everything. Like, you don't necessarily need to have, you know, kept every paper or every Christmas thing that they've made. But, you know, keep what's important to you. Some things you can't let go. And again, photos falls into that category as something sentimental. Save it towards the end. Don't start at the beginning or you'll never get anywhere. So if you're cleaning and you come across photos while you're cleaning out your closet, put your photos in a photo box and save that for later. So reducing, organizing, and then ultimately at the end, designate a place for everything. There's a spot for everything. Discard first, store later. And she goes into saying that you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money like at the Container Store or anywhere like that. But you can use shoe boxes. You can use, you know, packaging that you've got things in if it's kind of stands up. And, oh, Amazon. Packaging came. Packages from Amazon. Did you get your tea? Mm-hmm. Did you order me tea? Okay. Sorry, I digress. Rather than buying something to make do for now, wait until you have completed your process and then figure out what you need to buy storage for. There are a lot of great videos out there for home storage. There's a lot of great videos out there for kitchen storage, how I organize my pantry. Somebody's got it all figured out, and it's not me. So that's why I thank YouTubers for putting stuff out there for me to watch. And, you know, all in all, she's got some great ideas. Like I said, it's a change in mindset. One theme underlying my method is transforming the home into a sacred place, a power spot filled with energy. I agree. You know, decrease the clutter, decrease the noise, and eliminate some of the information so that you can really enjoy what it is that you have. So that being said, I think this was a great little book for me. I don't know that I'll refer back to it. I probably will refer back to it again. I think just kind of reviewing it consistently like I have has kind of really, I've homed in on those like common themes, and you know, the way she thinks to do it is, I think, a great idea. So thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you found this helpful. And if I've mentioned anything, any websites or any specific information, I'll make it in the link below so that you can refer to that. And I'm also up and coming with my own blog, so I'll also link that below if you have time to take a look. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe. Thanks for watching.